episode 122.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the next level? Then hold on, because Ron and Ali are going to take you into the fast lane with the latest tips and insights from some of the biggest and most successful sellers here on the So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us today Cheryl Tenbrook. Cheryl, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Good. That's awesome to hear. Appreciate that. We're doing good here in St. Louis. Ali, how you doing in Thailand?
Thank you for asking, Ron. I am doing absolutely great. It's great to have you with us, Cheryl. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. So Cheryl has been selling on eBay since 2001, full-time since 2012, and she's a top-rated seller and silver power seller. Her eBay store, Funkarelics, specializes in things vintage, retro, antique, and eclectic, with a few new items slipped in on the side.
Wow. So you're back in the good old days where you're 2001, was it?
Yes.
Wow. So you've come from that to this. I mean, you must have seen some changes over the years.
Well, yeah, it's back from the days when everything sold.
Everything. What? So you put anything on there? It doesn't matter what, like a one-eyed pug, and it would sell.
Yes, exactly.
You better quit picking on those pugs, man. Jason T. Smith might be listening.
Yes.
He might be listening, man.
We might get some like hate mail or something. Someone's got a pug with one eye or something. But wow, this is fantastic, Cheryl. So how did you get into this world of eBay then?
Well, actually, I got into it because my mother passed away, and she lived in St. Louis, where I grew up, by the way.
Wow.
I am the only child, and so we had to pack everything and bring it here to Kansas. And I had a whole basement full of stuff, and eBay was very young and new at that point. And I just decided to give it a shot. And all that stuff gave me inventory that didn't have any cost. And I cut my teeth in selling, learning with that. And I got hooked.
Wow, very cool. You've got a really cool eBay store. It's Funkarelics, and I'm looking at it now. You've got a lot of variety, actually. It's really kind of nice. And do you take your own pictures then?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay. So tell us about that. How do you have that set up? Do you have a little photo booth that you set up, or how do you do that?
Actually, my photo booth is behind me. It is a linen tablecloth stuck into a desk.
Great. Now everybody knows.
And there's natural lighting from a window close by, so it just works for small stuff really well. I go into another room if I'm going to do clothes and use a mannequin and all that sort of thing. But I just use my iPhone 7, hoping soon. Actually, it's 5S, hoping soon to be a 7 or an 8. But it's great.
Okay, so one of the things we like to do on this show is eliminate excuses. That's easy for me to say. And you've just eliminated several. Okay, so you don't need to have a $5,000 camera. You don't need to have a $2,000 photo booth. And even then the lighting, I mean, as far as that goes, you've got natural lighting for yours. So you take your pictures during the day, hopefully.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, you just eliminated a lot of excuses that some people say I can't sell on eBay because I don't have a $5,000 camera. So no, that's good. I mean, I like that. And, a lot of people these days are using their smartphones for the cameras. And why wouldn't you? They're amazing. So they take great photos, and yours are proof of that.
Thank you.
So where are you getting, you got some 1907 real photo postcards. I mean, I love all that old stuff. There was something about the people back then that they just looked so cool. So where are you getting all this stuff? Are you a thrifter?
Not so much a thrifter here in Wichita, Kansas. We have houses with basements here because of the tornado thing, and everybody saves everything, and everybody's ground saves everything. So I go to estate sales and auctions primarily and get my inventory from those places.
So you buy by
Very
bulk,
nice.
do you? You buy like a big... Because I've never done it, but apparently they got like boxes, and you bid on the box, and you get... Is that how it works, is it?
Right. At an auction, there'll be boxes and flats of stuff, and you get the whole box. And then at the estate sales, I look for the ones that are really, really full. And that's where I got those postcards. I got a stack about 12 inches high for $5.
Wow.
I mean, when you
crazy.
when you do that, when you come across that box and you realize you're getting that for $5, I mean, how do you compose yourself? Because I'd be going, gosh, you don't even know what, I would lose my mind. I mean, you got to keep that poker face,
It was hard.
Right?
Yeah, the lady's like, I don't want to count these. How's $5? I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And you sped off at 90 miles an hour, right?
Yes.
So you get this.
Wow.
So you get this box, this $5 box, and I'm sure for $5, I'm sure you're getting many boxes. I know I would. I'd spend more. I'd be like, I'd need a warehouse. But once you get these boxes, you bring them back, and then what's your sort of? How do you organize that? Work out what you do want, what you don't want.
I just go through them, and like with postcards, I pull real photos and work with them first because they usually sell the best, and dump any that are damaged because it isn't smart to sell damaged stuff,
Right.
Unless it's just really, really rare. And then I just start taking pictures and putting them up. I go with I take a whole batch of pictures, and then I edit the pictures, and then I list that whole batch of things and then start over.
So was that something you learned? I mean, because we talk about, processes and systems in place. And I'm just curious, I would imagine, that's a learning curve. Like, I would have taken a picture, listed it, and then instead of, taking all the pictures at one time and then moving it across, I guess it's just a part of learning the process, right? And getting your systems in place. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, if everything is in the same category, it's super much faster to go ahead and have them all ready to go. And then just like an assembly line, you just have to be careful that you change the right stuff using that cell similar method.
And then you're doing all this on your own, are you? I mean, you're doing all that process on your own, are you?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm the only one.
Gee, how do you have time to do anything else? I mean, that must be a full-time job, isn't it?
It is indeed, but it's a full-time job where I can wear my pajamas if I want to.
There you go.
60 hours a week for me than 40 for somebody else.
So what happens if you go away or something? You go on holiday. Who sends it all out and stuff, or would you just put like a holiday setting on?
Yeah, usually I put it on vacation, and I will go ahead and run auctions when I'm gone, because those can stay up since they can't buy them.
Yep.
And so you can keep your revenue going a little bit if you're going to be out of town, and then I'll come back and bring them back on the day before I get home.
So is there an easy process? Because that just sounds like, so you've got a lot of products. You turn everything to be an auction item. Is that like a button somewhere? Is it you could choose to do that, or how does that work?
Well, you can choose whichever method, but I don't convert them. I just make sure that I have. If I'm going to go out of town, I'll make sure I got 50 or 75 auctions up.
Oh, okay.
Just let that run. And then I've got 940 others that I'll just take off for a week.
Right.
Which I don't do very often because
Yeah. Because you're an entrepreneur, and that's just not in the. Yeah. You gave up the 4 weeks vacation when you left the corporate world, right?
Yes.
But I bet you haven't regretted it one day.
Not at all. I love it.
So what did you do before eBay?
Well, I started out as a secretary in a middle school for about 5 years, and then I followed my college training, and I tried freelance writing, which actually worked out okay. I mean, I got a novel published and a couple dozen magazine articles, but the problem was that I realized it didn't pay. And so when eBay came along, I also managed a gym for a while. But when eBay came along, it was perfect because I could stay home with my kids when they were younger. I could have flexibility in my schedule, and I love just being an entrepreneur, having my own business.
That's what I hear. We hear that a lot, actually, don't we, Ali?
So much. I mean, why wouldn't you?
I don't think we've ever heard out of 120. This is 122, I think, episodes. I don't think we've ever heard anyone say, being an entrepreneur really sucks. I don't think we've heard that, right? I mean, I don't think we've heard anybody say, I was in the corporate world, left that to be an entrepreneur, but boy, I tell you what, I can't wait to go back to the corporate world where people control me and and my money and all that stuff.
I mean. How can you not? You go out, you buy a big box full of something, like Ron said, you get all excited, for $5, okay? You then bring that back. You only really have to sell one thing in that whole box to get your money back. I mean, why wouldn't it be exciting? It's somewhat like free money. It's got that excitement to it, hasn't it?
Exactly. And I actually sold one of the postcards last night for $40. So all the other to 100 or so are gravy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You've just bought another 5 boxes. You know what? Like, you just bought so many more boxes out of that. So how often do you do that then? Go and get these boxes? Because if it was me, I'd be down there every day.
Well, I wish they were there every day. I went out today and found nothing.
Right.
But estate sales here run usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so I spend Monday and Tuesday here working hard on the listing process and then source on the mornings of the other days.
I'm just curious. Do you ever put any ads in like Craigslist, that you buy things like that? I mean, I'm just curious if that's a, way of making, yourself known.
Yeah, I don't do Craigslist very much. I don't like to sell the security of it as far as the exchange. No, I mean, it makes me nervous. I'm sorry.
Okay. I got you. Okay. Yeah, some people just don't feel comfortable doing that, right? Mm-hmm. I understand that completely.
So I'm looking here at, this is one of yours. Yes, this is yours. Bride, Troll, Doll, Ace Novelty. I mean, this thing looks, it's got like a funky haircut. So you got it up there for $16.47. Did that come in one of those boxes, did it?
That one I bought separately. There was an estate sale that had a couple dozen trolls, and I just grabbed some that looked interesting. They were only $1. So I thought, why not?
So how do you know? I mean, how have you worked out that should be sold for $16? Is that just because it's sold for that before, or you've done some research?
I check the comps on eBay and see what they've sold for. Also know, I've done this long enough now, I know brands and about what they should sell for. Yeah. And so I've already sold like 3 of those trolls, the more expensive ones. They're already to their owners.
All right. Nice.
That's still sitting there.
Yes.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I mean, like Ali said, you got a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, not just off the wall stuff. It's kind of really cool. I mean, I would recommend anybody coming and check your website out or your eBay store just to see what you have. It's kind of nice. So, nice variety.
What is the weirdest thing you've sold then? I love this.
The weirdest.
Yeah, the weirdest or the most expensive or something. What was the product that sort of stood out the most?
Well, the best one most recently were Three Stooges cards. They're like little fan cards that Fleer Bubblegum put out in 1959. And I bought 7 of them for $9. And I was figuring they go $30 to $50. But apparently there was one card in that batch that was really good for collectors, and it sold for $1,035.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh, man! I bet you have a tattoo, a smile tattooed on your face. I don't know how. I mean, seriously, you do really good things, man. That's really good. Really good.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, well, how could it not be? Do you know what I mean? It's like, woohoo! Party time! Yeah, excellent.
Ron and Ali will be right back after this short break.
Life is full of numbers. Our brains process literally hundreds of numbers and equations every hour of every day. When it comes to your business, give your brain a break as well as peace of mind that the numbers are figuring up as they should with MyCost Pro. MyCost Pro is an easy-to-use automated eBay bookkeeping program for Excel that imports sales data directly from your seller account. MyCost Pro automatically generates accounting and performance reports to show you your true bottom-line profit. You can even view and edit active listing details such as price and quantity and relist unsold items directly from MyCost Pro. All you need is Excel on your Windows PC. Take control of your business and free up those long nights of crunching the numbers. Visit mycostpro.com for a 21-day no-obligation free trial using coupon code PODCAST, exclusively for So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast listeners. It's only right around the corner. Ecom Chicago 2017. Innovate, inspire, and grow. Join us October 19th through 21st in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, for the 4th annual event that focuses on e-commerce and business growth. Hear strategies from expert speakers. Learn new ideas and techniques that will help to develop your business. Speak and network with like-minded online sellers, as well as experts and mentors who will be available throughout the event, such as Jason T. Smith, Kathy Terrell, Eddie Levine, and Peter Cairns, just to name a few. The wealth of experience, knowledge, and enthusiasm is sure to be mind-blowing. Go to ecomchicago.com for more information. Sponsorship opportunities available. New this year for attendees is a pre-event vendor showcase on Thursday, October 19th, where our participating vendors will be giving live, focused demos on their product or service.
Be sure to check out SoYouWannaSellOnEBay.com for the latest podcasts and all the information you need to get selling fast.
So let's talk a bit about shipping then. What are you doing with shipping here? You just taking it down the post office once a day, or?
I print all my labels myself through eBay to get that discount and not have to stand in line at the post office.
Yep.
And then once a day, our post office actually lives south of Wichita in a little town called Rose Hill. And our post office is 3 blocks away. So I just run it down. They know me by name. I don't stand in line. I just drop everything off.
Nice.
VIP.
Hey, if you have to be known by, somewhere, I guess a post office is not a bad place to be known.
They are an eBay seller's best friend. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and a lot of people are doing that. They're actually printing their own postage to save that money. And, you can schedule a pickup pretty easily around your house, and they'll come pick it up too.
Yeah, you can do that too.
So would you do this like once a day? Would you? You wouldn't like if you sold something, go back down. You have a sort of discipline with it, do you?
If they ask if there's an emergency, if it's near Christmas and they really want it out, I probably would. I have in the past. But, yeah, I don't want to spend my whole day running back and forth. It just messes up the rhythm if I go too many times. And the stuff gets there on time. One of the beauties about living in the Midwest, even though it might be boring, is that you're in the middle, and so your ship times are a lot shorter than coast to coast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know, living in St. Louis, we get the same luxury, whether it's going east or west or straight up in, north or south, we're right there. So, the shipping time is a lot shorter.
We had a question from Jessica, who's on our Facebook group, and she was asking, so she buys these products similar to what you're doing, and how do you know what description to write? She struggles with writing good descriptions based off something she's never had. Like, for example, you got these postcards. I mean, how would you know what to write about that?
I'd check what is on the product as far as factual stuff. Like on most postcards, there is a title at the bottom on Real Photos where they tell you what it is. And a lot of times my titles are copying that straight off. If you flip the postcard over, there's a stamp box, and there's a website called playals.com, which if you look that up, you can tell when that stamp box was made. And so you can give it a date. All that the more factual stuff you can do. And sometimes I just get on. I've taken a magnifying glass to a Street View to look up signs to try to figure out if any of them have the town on it.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Wow.
The town, it's sold. It just takes some detective work sometimes.
That's brilliant.
That sounds like a little fun, actually. I could see that'd be pretty interesting.
I could get caught up in that.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
3 days later, haven't listed a thing, but I found that house.
Yeah, that's it. Then now you're looking at a family tree or something, and it gets weird. So what would be an average time sort of for listing a product? Because you got so many and you're working on your own. Do you have like a 10-minute per product, or some products are just taking longer to list?
Some will take me longer. If I'm doing those postcards, if I'm really concentrating, I can do them in about 5 minutes. Okay. Because there's only 2 sentences to write, basically, in a title. And if you know about what you want to charge for them, they're very fast. Tonight I'm working on German dollhouse dolls, and it's slower because I had to search a little bit to figure out brand. And so it probably will take me 15 minutes to get these guys up because they all have to be measured. Things that have been measured are a pain.
Yeah, I bet.
If they'll sell well, that's okay, though. I don't mind.
Absolutely. And I guess your writing degree doesn't hurt either, huh?
It does not hurt. That's the easy part for me.
So what do you do if they don't?
Adjectives and stuff get in my way. I mean, I'm not real sure exactly what I'm doing sometimes when I write, but yeah.
Yeah, you are, Ron. You're one of those obsessive people. He is. He's really obsessive. So what do you do if it doesn't sell? Do you just keep with it, keep listing it, and eventually just give it as a Christmas present? I mean, what's your philosophy?
Well, there are several things I do with it. If I put it up for a buy it now, I usually give it a couple months because a lot of my stuff is long tail and it takes a while for the right buyer to come. I mean, not everybody wants a monkey troll. And so you have to wait for the right guy that needs that. Yeah. But if it doesn't sell, I will maybe a lot of times when I take pictures, I'll take two that I can use as a main photo. I'll flip them so it looks different. I'll rewrite the title and I'll try it again.
Yep.
That doesn't work. We put them on sale, use Markdown Manager. And then eventually, if I can't get a postcard to sell by itself, for instance, then I'll put it in a lot and we'll sell 20 of them. And if that doesn't work, then sometimes they go out. Or right now, I'm working on paper lots right now from the last year. I've got huge boxes full of old paper that I'm just going to sell in a big lot.
Okay.
And just get some money. All I'm looking at doing is getting my investment in it.
Right,
I don't
right.
care if I make a profit. I just want to get my money back.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense, actually. And just looking at your store here again, and I do see you're at 99.9% positive feedback in the last year. How much? Let's talk about feedback. I mean, what do you do for negative feedback, and what kind of negative feedback have you experienced?
I've only had one person in the last year. And it's like nature hates a vacuum. When that one rolls off, I'll probably get another one. But, it was just something that they didn't like what they got and they nagged me. And, when buyer says, I don't like it, it's not what I expected. You're probably not going to get that taken off. So I just roll with it. I mean, one negative to me and several thousand is not a big deal. It doesn't really hurt us anymore. As far as, our eBay status, yep, it's not like it used to be. So as much as I'd rather have 100%, I just try to roll with it.
But 99.9 isn't bad.
No, it's sort of second good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have 100, but if you do it long enough, you're going to get at least that one guy.
No doubt about it. Absolutely. I mean, there's just always going to be that one person that you just won't be able to satisfy. And I agree with you 100%. It's just easier just to let that go and just forget about it and, do your best to, make them as happy as you can be. But, sometimes you're just not going to be able to, satisfy them.
Yeah, I do put a notice like on that one negative. I'd put the note that you're allowed to put there. Hey, I gave them a full refund and, did everything I could do.
Yeah.
Just to let anybody that looked know, hey, I made my best effort. But I think if you just keep selling, you bury those things so it's so far back, hardly anybody probably looks.
Exactly. And that one negative is out of 1,229 feedback left. Okay. So, that's just mental. You've satisfied 1,228 customers just who've left feedback out of one. So I just think that's amazing, really. Could be a lot worse.
In a lot of cases, it is a lot worse.
Exactly, so it's yeah. And you're at 15,800 feedback. It comes to a point where I don't imagine it's as important as it was once when you were early days, where you want every feedback. So this is fantastic. I can't believe you do all this on your own. Do you have you must have a system in place of some kind, yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of rinse and repeat. You just buy it, photograph it, describe it, sell it, and get it out of the house.
But how do you store it? Like, we had a guy on the show before. He had he was selling cards, and he had little cupboards that he could put his cards. But you got cards to dresses to these weird, funky head, gnome looking things. So where do you store all this stuff? In boxes? You have little codes and stuff?
I have Rubbermaid totes that I can seal so I can keep anything, the plastic things.
Okay.
And I have shelves in the room I'm in now for the paper stuff that are in flats and shallow containers so that I can stack them. And basically, our two kids grew up and left home, and I took over their bedrooms. So,
bye-bye.
And sometimes it crawls out into the dining room, too, but I try not to let that happen.
Yeah.
So they can never come back.
Yeah.
No.
Unless they list.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can have your room back if you start listing and sell this stuff. So do they not want to help out, or are they doing their own thing?
They are all grown up and have kids of their own.
Right.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. So that's awesome. I mean, so really, I mean, I really appreciate you. You know, we appreciate you joining us today. I mean, really, and sharing your story with us. And you've been selling since 2001 and full time since 2012, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is your biggest, your most exciting moment? I mean, you shared a couple things with us that I would feel are pretty exciting. But what would you say your biggest or your most exciting moment in selling on eBay full time is, or was?
I've gotten to go out to the eBay corporate headquarters a couple times, and that was interesting to be able to see how that all happens. I enjoyed that. That was exciting. But just selling some of the bigger items at times that I needed money to come in for the family and so forth. I remember selling a $700 pin, Lions Club pin, that I paid 50 cents for. And it was this little coconut shell. And it was like 1955 or something, coconut pin from their meeting in Hawaii.
Unbelievable.
It just went berserk on the bids, and I had no idea. That one I had absolutely no idea it was worth anything. I just put it up.
So you put it up as auction. You put it up, and then they were bidding on it. And they just bidding like nuts on it.
Exactly. And if I don't know what something is worth, I generally will put it at auction first, and then I'll convert it over if it doesn't sell to buy it now, because there's always that chance that it'll do like the Three Stooges cards did. I really didn't know they would go that high.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
People are saying the auction is dead. And I'm like, no, it's not. You need to run it through an auction first. You can buy it now afterwards, you know?
I can only imagine sitting there watching that auction just go ballistic and just wonder where is the ceiling going to be on this thing?
Refresh.
Yeah.
So I was on that one.
What did you start that out as? Would you start that as 99 cents?
No, I didn't on that one. I think I started it at $29.95 because that's what I thought it was worth. And that's usually where I do most of my auctions is what would I be willing to take for it and be happy if it just sells at that bid, that starting price. And then sometimes I do 95 cent off auctions with my junk that's not selling just to pull people in. And hopefully then while they're there, they will look around at other stuff and buy or bid on it. And that seems to work pretty well lately. And I'm also using Promotions Manager and the promoted listings.
Yep.
I mean, that have just kind of started.
That must be so much fun. It
is indeed.
So, it's just amazing. So, last question, the question I always ask everyone, just because I like to ask it, and I have the choice. Where do you see yourself then? Do you see yourself building this bigger? Are you going to get more people in to help work with you, or?
I don't think I will get people in to help. What I want to do is raise my average selling price. Okay. I can't do much more. However, I could learn to do it better and sell more expensive things. It just takes a higher learning curve and a higher risk. Mm-hmm. And now that I've got enough inventory to do that, I want to learn how to do some of the more expensive items. And make more money by selling less, really, as my husband keeps telling me. It takes as much time to put up, a $50 item as a $10 item. So why don't you just do $50 ones? Thank you, honey.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite logical. I mean, it does sound...
Yes, it makes sense. It's not always that easy. But that's my goal, is to raise that average selling price.
Yep. And then sort of build it and get, like you say, more and more expensive items up there. Mm-hmm. But this is amazing. This is why me and Ron do this show, because we just meet people like you, and it's just you just give so much inspiration, when you get something for 80 cents and sell it for $1,000. Doesn't I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, Ron, how can we do this, Ron? We're going to get some workers in your house and get this going. So, no, thanks for joining us today, Cheryl. It's been fantastic. I mean, You've got so much experience here. You've been doing it so long. You've kept with it throughout all these years. You just know what you're doing here, and it's brilliant to bring people like you on the show that can help and inspire maybe newer and people who are now selling. So thanks for joining us, Cheryl. We've really, really enjoyed it.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
We'll post all the notes of today's interview on our show notes page. As always, can be found at www.soyouwannasellonebay.com/. /show notes. Cheryl, before you leave us, how can people buy this gnome from you or this doll? I mean, how can people get in contact with you?
Funkarelics.com. Just Google it. It'll take you right to my eBay page.
Okay, brilliant. And they can contact you through that, yeah?
Yes.
Any Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, Inga, Stinger?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, too.
No, we're on everything these days, aren't we? You can just find
Yes.
And is it all the same name? Is it Funkarelics?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Well, we'll put all of those in the show notes, so make sure you check that out. Also, check out the latest resources. It's not really latest no more, but it's been there. But we got loads of good little links and stuff that other previous guests recommend and tools that they use. So go ahead and check that out. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
That's all for this episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. Be sure to check out our next episode or any past episodes by going online to soyouwantasellonebay.com. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite social media sites, facebook.com/So You Want to Sell on eBay, and Twitter @Your eBay Podcast. Thanks for listening. And until next time, happy selling.
Have an idea for a topic or know someone who would like to be on the show? Let us know. Just go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/interview. We look forward to hearing from you. This podcast was produced in part by Pro Voice Works.